Hey friends, it's Tracy. Welcome to today's video. I have a primitive country St. Patrick's Day burlap wreath to share with you today. Now, one of the things I love to do is create wreaths. I do design for a local business, and when I have time, I will do a video and share it here with my community. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started and let me share my primitive country St. Patrick's Day burlap wreath. Okay, here are the supplies I'm using. Now, when I saw this rustic shamrock from the Dollar Tree, I knew that it would be perfect for this wreath. Anyway, other things that I'm using is this ribbon. It either came from Hobby Lobby or Craft Outlet. That brown and white buffalo check came from Sam's Club. I'm also going to be using some pip berries, which are my heart and soul, and those came from Hobby Lobby. Now, for the base of my wreath, I am doing a deco mesh burlap base, and so I have already done that because I make up multiples. I don't just sit down and do one wreath. I like streamline and multitask, and so I do have a series of videos that show exactly how I put my mesh on my wreath. I will link to that so that if you're interested to see how I put my mesh on my wreath or anything else that I do, I will link to that playlist for you so that you can check that out. For my ribbon, these are 2.5-inch ribbon, and I cut them at 13 inches. I dovetailed the ribbon. With the exception of the window pane ribbon, I just cut that straight across. Now, what I do to make my bundles, I just crisscross them and then I put one in the middle. I use my little tiny attacher, my little stapler, and I just put a teeny tiny staple in there, and then I make my bundle so that when I'm ready to do my wreath, put my ribbon on my wreath, I can just go. Now, on this wreath, I have 18 ties, pipe cleaners. So I have 9 of the one set of ribbon and then 9 of the other set of ribbon. And like I said, I just crisscross them. I used 3 in one bundle and then 2 in the other. And then I'm going to use some raffia to put in the one that only has the 2 ribbon. And I just put little tied little bows and just cut off the raffia. So here it is again with all of the ribbon put on. I just alternated up, down, up, down, up, down, kind of like in a zigzag pattern until I got all of my ribbon on, and I have 18 bundles on them. Okay, for embellishments, I am using these pip berries that I got in the St. Patrick's Day section at Hobby Lobby. And what I did, they were on a strand, but I untwisted them and took them off of the strand, and then I'm just using my floral cutter here that I got from Deco Exchange. If you're interested in checking that out, I will have my affiliate linked below. I love this for stems like this. It just really makes my wreath making when I'm using floral and things that I need to cut that don't cut with wire cutters or either some scissors. That floral cutter works great. And then also to put a steel pick on the end of my stem here, the steel pick, what that does is that when I glue it in between the deco mesh, it is going to hold it so that it lasts for years and years to come, and they don't fall out of my wreath. These things are just, I'm a gadget junkie. I love to use these things. I'm not saying that you need to go out and purchase them. It is an investment, but I'm just sharing with you what I use and what works for me. So here is the finished wreath with all of the pip berries put in. I used almost all of the pip berries with the exception of one because I'm going to use that on the shamrock. Now to embellish the shamrock, it's already cute with little rustic colors and all of that stuff. But you know me, I gotta, doodle it up a little bit, add some black Sharpie marker and some white highlights. And so I just do that with my ultrafine Sharpie marker and just with some white paint, just doodle that up. Then to seal everything, I am just using my glossy varnish, and I like the liquid glossy because I like the glossy look, and that just kind of seals everything and just makes it all nice and durable, because I never know when where the customer is going to be putting the wreath, in the home or outside the home. And before I put on my varnish, I forgot to mention that I put my paint splatters on there. I just did black. So I do that by using a stiff brush and a stick, and just run the stick over the bristles that projects the paint onto my project, what I'm trying to paint splatter. And I always cover my work area because paint splattering is messy. All right, for the blessed wording, that is something that I got from Hobby Lobby in the fall season. They had like a pack of words that had blessed and thankful and grateful, I do believe, and I liked the natural look, and I didn't feel it really need to be painted. So what I did, guys, is I just took my vintage photo ink and a finger dauber, and I just distressed it around the edges, and then I put that same gloss sealer that I love so much, and I just put a sealer over it, so that way, if it got wet or something like that. And so everything is sealed and it looks really nice. So then I just use my Fabri-Tac glue as well as hot glue. The Fabri-Tac is like the permanent hold, and then the hot glue is kind of like the instant hold. And so that way my letters can stay on there. Okay, to attach my shamrock to my wreath, what I do is, it had the 2 holes at the top that had that jute hanger on, which I'm not using. But what I did is I have some wire, and just thin wire, and I thread it through the back of the wreath and attach it to the back, through where the wire is. I'll just thread it through there. And so then I'm just using my little mandrel tool that a sweet friend, Miss Jan Blackwell, sent to me. I love these so much. It's just, you just stick it in there, the little wire, and then you curl. It's a curling tool, and I love it so much. I will have that linked below as well. And to get additional holes in my sign, I just use my Crocodile. The Crocodile has a small hole puncher, and it has a larger hole puncher, and it also does something else which I don't really use. I just use it for the holes, and I just punch the holes in there and then thread some wire from the back through the mesh to the front of the sign, and then I just use that curling tool to help curl everything. All right, so then now I'm just taking this green and white gingham ribbon that I got from Hobby Lobby. I think this is in the St. Patrick's section, and I'm just making a small bow. I'm also going to make a raffia bow, and then I'm just going to attach everything. I'm going to gather it in the middle with a pipe cleaner, and then what I'm going to do in the bottom of the sign of the little shamrock, I'm going to use my paper piercer tool, and I put 2 holes in there, like 2 holes side by side, but far enough apart so that they wouldn't go through the sign, but I wanted to be able to thread my pipe cleaner through those 2 holes, and then I'm going to twist it in the back, so that way it gives me extra protection, extra security that the bow will not fall off of the sign. And I just cut the tails at a diagonal and fluff everything out. And this, is just a perfect little extra for my shamrock. All right, this is the wire that I use to make a hanger for the back of my wreaths. This is kind of what I do. I just kind of twist it around there. And then I like these woven table placemats that I get at Hobby Lobby in the fall season. I bought a bunch of those, especially when they were on sale, and I like to use these to cover the back of my wreaths. I just use extra pipe cleaners that I cut off from, the front of the wreath, like for the ribbon and stuff. Once, I have all my ribbon in there, I cut the excess off, and then I save those, and then that's what I use to really just tie this woven placemat on the back of my wreath, and it just kind of makes everything all nice and finished.